What does your pain mean? A lot of the time you will hear instructors asking you, is it good or is it bad pain? And I know from experience as an instructor, I often get I don't know, it's just pain. And the reason why we ask is because your body is going to feel sensations of pain, but there is safe pain. That is your body's way of saying, I'm working and this is difficult, but it's not causing damage. And then there's the bad pain, which is the you need to stop pain. So how do we know the difference? The good pain when you're exercising is generally like a burning sensation, or the muscle might start feeling fatigued. So as you do more repetitions, you might feel as if it's getting tighter and tighter and harder to do. However, bad pain is the pain that once you stop doing that movement doesn't go away or it gets worse. Naturally, after exercise, if you have been feeling that burning pain and then you stop, it should subside fairly quickly because now you've stopped what is aggravating that specific muscle while you were working it. And also you might just for a couple of days after the exercise feel stiffness. Stiffness is completely normal as long as it's not a type of stiffness where you feel like you physically can't move, like you are struggling to walk up the steps because now that one leg just feels so stiff and tight that you can barely like press up onto it. That is not a good kind of stiffness. We like the stiffness that feels like, oh, that's achy, but I feel like I can still do everything I need to do without having this alarm bell go off in my head. And that stiffness is called delayed onset muscle soreness. We call it DOMS for short. That is generally very normal post-intensive exercise. The bad types of pain. So when do we need to sit back and listen to our body and go, maybe it's time for me to take a break? General rule of thumb, any pain that is increasing, especially if it's an exponential increase and it feels like your brain is telling you, I don't think you should be doing this. Because when it's a bad pain, it's a way of your body relaying something is wrong. So second thing is pain that lingers after you've completed it. So if it's like an aching in the joint that feels like, oh, I like, it's really difficult to move my joint now and it's uncomfortable, you might have overdone it or done something that you shouldn't be doing in that joint. Then we get the different types of pain sensations. So aching pain, generally speaking, it's quite similar to like the burning sensation that you get through muscle work. It's a little bit harder to differentiate because you might be working the muscle. However, if you have had a previous injury and you get that aching pain in that spot, it might be a good time to just dial back. So if it's like a very localized aching, like it feels like someone is like poking into you and that's the aching spot versus the whole muscle, you might need to take a step back because there might be a little bit of pressure there that shouldn't be on that muscle. Then other types of pain are the pinching pains. Generally, we want to avoid those because if it's pinching, it means that structures are being compressed and not in a way that is good for it. It's ways that are really uncomfortable and painful, and it might cause inflammation. Doesn't usually cause injury directly, but it can cause aggravation and inflammation of the structures around it. So if you're doing an exercise and you kind of get to a point and you're like, oh, that's starting to pinch, don't force yourself through and further into the range because it could make the pinch worse. Rather than go, I'm going to work just before that pinch and then come back again. You can always ask your instructors as well how you can adapt for it. Then you get the nervy pains, which are like this burning, hot, cold. It can be sharp. It can be shooting kind of sensation. And it's generally quite intense to the point that it feels like I really need to take a break from this. Those kind of pains as well, you need to just step back and go, okay, I need to adjust something because something's not quite right. If you continue to do an exercise and it keeps shooting and it's like a kind of pain, like you're like, oh, no, that's not lacquer, even if it's quite intense and goes away quite quickly, but then you keep doing it and it's like this hot poker going into your leg or wherever you're feeling it. You need to adjust and you need to find a way to try and adjust it. So in summary, good pains are the like muscle work, burning, fatigue kind of pain that doesn't feel like it's getting to the point where you cannot do that movement anymore. Bad pains are the sharp shooties, the pinching, the localized aching where it feels like a pinpointed ache versus the whole muscle working. Burning, hot, cold sensations. Those are the ones that you need to just step back and go, does it get worse if I stop? Does it get better? Does it linger? Maybe I need to adjust something to kind of adapt for my body so that I'm not continually aggravating and causing more pain. And these kind of pains can go for all joints in the body. I'm generalizing because sometimes in certain areas you can get different types of pains, but generally speaking, good and bad pain, wherever you feel it in the body, it will kind of be lumped under those two categories. So it's very important to listen to your body and try and figure out what kind of pain you're feeling, because pain is not just pain. There are different types of pains, and you need to understand for yourself when you need to take a break versus when it's okay to push your body, because maybe you're just like, yeah, I'm fatiguing, but I think I can do a couple more reps, but it shouldn't feel like you're about to roll off the reformer and die from tiredness, okay? Because then it's maybe a little bit too far. But that's part of why we do Pilates, is to understand our body and understand through movement what is happening in our body and when we need to adjust and how we need to adjust and what is good and what is not for our body. So I really hope this helps. And you can check our body check below in the link, because maybe it's going to help to guide you further.